Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I was about to turn everything off when I saw this story, and this is somewhat of a big deal. When they're telling you about Syria and the gas attacks, this is 2/28/18. Mattis admits there was no evidence Assad used poison gas on his people. No evidence. Now, if you remember, I was the person who came out and said, how on earth are you attacking them when you haven't even gotten the evidence yet? Trump talking about the dead babies and that he needs to attack immediately because of the dead babies when he has no evidence who killed the dead babies. And even if he did have evidence, you have no cause to do something like that. We are not a threat. There are no terrorists or barbarians at our gates. You can't fire off a missile strike as the President of the United States just for shits and giggles. But that's precisely what took place. Now, Mattis admits there was no evidence Assad used poison gas on his people. Lost in a hyper-politicized hullabaloo surrounding Nunez's memo and Steele dossier was the striking statement by Secretary of Defense James Mattis that the United States has no evidence that the Syrian government used banned nerve agent Sarin against its own people. This assertion flies in the face of Washington White House memorandum, which was rapidly produced and declassified to justify an American Tomahawk strike against the Sarin air base in Syria. Mattis offers no temporal qualifications, which means that both the 2017 event in Shekun and the 2013 event in Ghouta are unsolved cases in the eyes of the Defense Department and Defense Intelligence Agency. Mattis went on to acknowledge that aid groups and others have provided evidence and reports, but stopped short of naming President Assad as the culprit. Now, the interesting part of this is Seymour Hersh. Seymour Hersh, famed journalist, real journalist, investigative journalist, made the point that the chemicals came not from the Syrian government, but from the rebels, the terrorists, who were trying to overthrow the Syrian government. He makes the case that the reason why Obama didn't attack them at that point wasn't because he couldn't attack them. It was because he found evidence that he realized that it wasn't the Syrian government that did it. That article was published in Germany. They wouldn't publish the article in the United States. We attacked that country. We didn't wait for the information to figure out whether they were guilty or not. And even not waiting for the information to figure out whether they're guilty or not, we still don't have standing to do that. We're not the world policemen. We're not the people who's supposed to slap the person on the hand when we believe they do something wrong. We are not the unipolar power in the world that gets to have carte blanche over everything that takes place. Our fuck-ups are forgiven, but other people fuck-ups when they trespass us get punished. Are you serious? Are those the international politics that you honestly want to have when you're interacting with the rest of the world? And do you believe that that fosters a certain level of peace, or do you believe that fosters a certain level of conflict? What I can tell you is, based on what Mattis is saying, we attacked the country for no reason. We literally attacked the country for no reason. And this is after paying terrorists to try to undermine and take that government down. When you hear them tell you that he used sarin on his people, please point them to Mattis, who's saying that was not the case, and we have no evidence to determine such. I'll leave it at that. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support the Patreon. Thanks everyone.